So we are recording now.
Oh, okay. Okay, excellent. Well, and it's a little after 7, so we're probably good to go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, tonight for joining us. Really appreciate it. This is our Zoom with Bloom Learning Communities episode. We're really excited for this. And this is a question or a topic, I should say, that we've got a lot of questions about over the past couple of months or so. So we know that there's a ton of interest about this. So we appreciate everybody joining us, especially now that the weather seems to be pretty nice out there. Before we go any further, though, if Jen and Debbie, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, so we all know who you are.
Sure. So hi, everybody. I'm Jen Hunsinger, and excuse me, I am the Director of First Year Experience and Student Transition here at Bloomsburg University, which is a big, long, fancy way of saying that our center works with students in terms of new student orientation. We have the learning communities. We have a bridge program called Jumpstart that we work with. We work with first year seminar. We work with lots of first year students in different ways and different components. So very excited to be here with you all tonight. Debbie?
Hi, everybody. My name's Debbie Chamberlain, and my title is Program Specialist. So I take care of organizing all of the special events that we do, whether they're social or educational, for the learning communities, as well as all first year programs. So I've actually worked with the learning communities for about probably 12 of my 19 years at the university, if not more. So they're my heart and soul. So I'm very excited to see you all tonight, and I hope you take advantage of this opportunity.
And students, you probably want to commit those names to memory. Jen Hunsinger, Debbie Chamberlain. You will likely be hearing from them regarding orientation as well, which is going to be, one of the more important subjects coming up here in the next couple months here. So you'll see a lot of Jen, you'll see a lot of Debbie, which is good. That's a good thing. So for tonight, we have about, a 20 or 30-minute presentation, and we will open it up to Q&A afterwards. But if you have questions as we're going through the presentation slides, I would encourage you just to ask. I mean, it's not a huge group here tonight, so we can make this, as conversational as you would like. But with that being said, I will go ahead and share my screen, and we can go ahead and get started. Like I said, an aspirational photo for what we hope the weather will look like here soon.
Honestly, it just looked like that last week. So I don't think it's aspirational.
That is true.
So, okay. So hi, everybody. So why Climb Alone? The learning communities are a program that are tied to academics. Our goal, honestly, is just to help students transition here to Bloomsburg, both academically and socially. We want to make sure that you're as successful as possible. We try to surround you with people that have similar interests or are in the same major as you. We try to provide you with a peer mentor who's an upperclassman in that same boat who also has same major or similar interests as you. And you get to work with faculty. You have many resources that are wrapped around you within these communities. Students in the learning communities tend to take some classes and other things that I'll get into here in a little bit. But we have a variety of learning communities that I think is in the next slide. So here we go. So next year we'll be offering some learning communities that are specific to the majors. So what this means is you have to be in these majors. You need to be accepted. So when you apply to Bloomsburg University and you were accepted, they accepted you and told you what department, area, major that you were accepted into. So for these learning communities, you must be accepted into the majors. So American Sign Language Learning Community is for students who are majoring in American Sign Language or students who are majoring in Deaf Ed, hard of hearing. The learning community for the American Sign Language Learning Community is also open to any student who is part of the deaf, hard of hearing population. The next one we have is our College of Education Learning Community, which is for any student that is an education student that is not an ASL or a Deaf Ed hard of hearing student. So the rest of you would be encompassed in the College of Ed. Digital Sciences Learning Community is for students who are majoring in computer science and or digital forensics. Health sciences learning community encompasses pretty much anything related to the health sciences, with the exception of nursing, who has their own learning community. And finally, we have the Ziegler College of Business learning community. So any student who is majoring in anything in the College of Business, that is our learning community for you. Then we have some learning communities that are open to any major. So we have a lot of majors at Bloomsburg University. I think over 50 or so. Tom, am I right on that?
Yeah, you're a ballpark range, correct? Yes.
So we don't have that many learning communities because we don't have the resources for that many, but we do have learning communities that are more interest-based, and these learning communities are open to all majors. So if you don't identify with that list that I just said, please don't worry, it's fine. If you have interests that are outside of the major, so anybody that is really interested in the arts, whether it's theater or dancing or music or creative writing or art, painting, any of those things. Creative arts is a really amazing learning community for those students. So it can give you an outlet. So even if you're a business major, you could still join the creative arts learning community. If you're a psychology major, you can do creative arts learning community instead. It's totally fine. They just really love working with anybody who enjoys the arts. The environmental learning community is also open to all majors. It's a common misconception that this learning community is only for students majoring in environmental studies, but that's not true. It's actually open to all students. So if you have an interest in the environment, whether it's something related to nature, or if it's you are very, very passionate about conservation, this is a wonderful learning community for you. The people in this learning community, they've done the butterfly farm, they've done hikes, they go and find different flowers, they plant flowers, they do conservation stuff, they do stuff related to social justice. It's a pretty great group of students. Speaking of social justice, we also have our Frederick Douglass Social Justice Learning Community. It's a mouthful, but oh my gosh, they do some pretty incredible stuff. The students in this learning community, they're very focused. They are very passionate about social justice. These students tend to get a lot of experience going to conferences. They'll do some presentations, like they're getting some serious professional development in this particular learning community. The Honors College is an invite-only learning community, and of course it's open to any discipline, but you have to be invited by the Honors College to join them. So that's not a learning community that you can just join. And then we have our military and veterans learning community, which is very near and dear to my heart. The military and veterans learning community is open to any active military members, any veterans, and any students that are in the ROTC programs here at Bloomsburg. So that's sort of the nutshell of all of the choices that you have. And if you have questions about any of them, feel free to ask away and I'll be happy to answer them. I swear I could talk for an entire week about the learning communities because I just love them so much. Anywho, okay.
Real quick, and if you're planning on talking about this later in the presentation, I'll put a pin in it. But can you talk about some of the activities that students might engage in from any of the LCs that you've talked about, right? So like my question is always like, what does a day in the life look like if you're in the Frederick Douglass Social Justice Learning Community or any of the other ones for that matter? Like what can students expect if they're involved?
So can you go to the next slide for me, Tom? Because I think the next one is about the classes. Oh, never mind. Sorry. You just keep it here. I don't want to make people dizzy. So a day in the life of a learning community student is pretty much a day in the life of any student here at Bloomsburg University. So what will happen is if you're in a learning community, we try to bring you in about a week before classes start in the fall. So unless you're an athlete or you're a band member who come in a little bit even earlier, learning community students would move in August 15th. That's if you're living on campus. And if you're living off campus, if you're commuting, you're more than welcome. And I'll talk about that here shortly. So we have them all come together that night of the 15th, and we do some welcome receptions. So you get to know your mentors, you get to know the director, and you get to know your peers. And they'll do a bunch of fun activities with you. We're constantly feeding you. Like you will not go hungry in the learning communities because pretty much everything we do involves food because we just love food here. We're a bunch of foodies.
Amen.
So but that first week is really geared towards doing activities that help you get to know your peers and your mentors and your directors. We'll also give you some additional information. We'll give you the opportunity to meet a bunch of faculty members that you might have classes with in your first year, so that you can ask them questions about what to expect. They'll share with you some of their expectations. You basically get like an inside scoop of BU before you even start classes, which is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Once classes begin, what'll happen is our office will host some social events that some of our mentors will plan for all learning community students. Some of those events include like trivia nights and pot planting, which is, plants, not pot, but you know what I mean. So succulents, that kind of thing. We've done some arts and crafts, so a paint and sip. I just got done telling some people in this group that we just wrapped up our end of the year learning community carnival extravaganza. So we had a bunch of carnival games and stuff. We also try to host some field trips to other places. We haven't been able to do that the last couple of years because of obvious reasons, but we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we'll be able to do that here in the upcoming year. Students pick and choose what they do. So in addition to those types of programs, the mentors and the learning community directors will coordinate and put together programs that really help students prepare or be aware of their academic and professional development. So it's very common for there to be some programs offered that are about what classes to schedule for the next semester. Study review sessions. A lot of our learning community students will take some courses together, which I'll talk about in here shortly. They will do work with alumni professional engagement, which does a ton of workshops. They bring in alumni and they really are working to help your skills so that you are marketable when you leave. Because let's face it, when you're coming to college to start gaining the skills you need for that career. We're not just here just to hang out. You're here for a reason. So our goal here in the learning community is to make sure that you get that. You pick and choose. Learning community students pick and choose what they're able to participate in. So it usually averages out where there's about 2 programs a month for them to go to. And then in addition to that, mentors will try to reach out to their individual mentees and try to meet with them once a month just to see, hey, how are you doing? What do you need? How can I help you? Like they're just there as a guide and a support system for all of you. Does that help answer your question?
It does, yeah. It's so in summary, it's like there's a support structure, there is like a sneak peek of campus, and then there's also some type of like an academic component depending on the LC, right? So I'm assuming if you're in the education LC, there's going to be academic programming throughout the course of the year. So like what might an academic program, like what are some examples of that?
They really vary depending on the learning communities, but some of them will run workshops on how to read. Some of them will be activities that are really about preparing for a test that's coming up in a common class that they all have. Some of them might be guest speakers coming in. So if it's College of Education, they may bring in alumni who are now in the schools and talk about things that they wish they had known, or things that they wish they had done that others can do, or things to be keeping in mind as you're going through the program. Those are the types of programs that students can anticipate through the learning communities.
Excellent. And we had a couple questions. The first one from Jocelyn. Is there a way that the activities during that first week are worked around sports practices / band camp? That's a good question.
It's a great question. So we are very used to sharing the athletes and band students with the other areas. So typically what will happen is when it comes to the learning communities, as long as we know in advance that a student is an athlete or is involved with marching band, if we know that in advance, we make a note, and then we just ask, come to what you can for the learning communities. We know that your priority is going to be marching band and athletics first. We know that. So you just try to come to what you can, and that's fine.
So for example, then like after, I guess the, a training camp or the band camp of sorts, like after that first initial couple of weeks, then would the students who are involved in either sports or band be able to like assimilate right back into the normal amount of LC oriented activities then?
Yes, because again, students in the learning communities, again, I can't stress this enough. You pick and choose what you're able to do. And if you're in a learning community and you're like, I can't do any of the events, but I still really like meeting with my mentor, that's great. That's awesome. If you can't do anything and you still can't meet with the mentor, but you still want the information, that's fine. You can stay. If it's just not working for you, then you just tell us and we'll work with you. And if you need to leave the learning community program, then fine. Then we'll make sure that happens for you. But we've had a ton of athletes and a ton of marching band people come through the learning communities, and they've been able to assimilate just fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jocelyn. Question from Carrie. Is there a requirement as a minimal of activities that they need to participate? Okay, you know what, actually, I think you just answered that question. And there's another question in the Q&A from, let's see, first one is Jenna. Is it possible for my roommate and I to be in different LCs? Very good question.
Yes. So this is what I think we should do, because this is all in these slides, Tom.
Okay.
Can we move forward just a little bit?
Yeah.
So I'll talk about this real quick.
That's Wednesday.
So, oh, no, go back.
Oh man, this is bad on my part. I apologize. One
Oh,
more.
good. No worries. So, I'll talk about this. So
Okay.
a lot of times we get students who are hesitant to join the learning communities because they think it's going to be too much. So my answer to that is it's really not. I don't know what happened to the slide, but the learning community students, they take a common course together. It's usually 1 to 2. And those courses that you're taking together with your peers are courses that you actually need. So the students that are in the academic-based learning communities, you're taking the classes together with your peers that you need for your major. So College of Education students are always taking Intro to Exceptionalities. It's a requirement. All education students have to take that class. So we just try to put you in the same section as the students that are in the learning community, so you have each other to get through the class with. Same thing for business students. They'll take Intro to Business together. The students that are in the interest-based learning communities are taking a course together that counts towards their gen ed requirements. So that's how that works. And it just creates an atmosphere where you have a lot of support around you, and you know a lot of the people. So like in high school, for those of you that are coming to college straight from high school, you know everybody in your class usually. So the learning communities help recreate that environment for you so that you're as comfortable as possible in your classes. And because of that, and because of all the support that we put around you, it's normal. Our average, the students in the learning communities typically average a 3.0 GPA. The students that choose not to do a learning community, they're averaging around a 2.5. So it really actually boosts your GPA to be in the learning community versus not. Okay, so now I'll answer some of these frequently asked questions we get, Tom, on the next slide.
Right,
Okay, so if you come to our campus and you've done a tour, you might see that our residence halls, all like most of them has signs that say learning community, learning community, learning community. So pretty much all of the residence halls on lower campus have some learning community or another that is housed in there. And what that means is we try to put students that are in a certain learning community in a building together if they're choosing to live on campus, but you are not sequestered with one another. So you can absolutely have roommates who are not in a learning community. You can absolutely have roommates who are in a different learning community. When we have students that are when we have roommates who are in 2 different learning communities, we just ask them which hall they want to be in usually. And that's it. And you just tell us which one, and that's where housing will try to put you. If you're not putting, oh, go ahead.
So Jen, so for students, I guess I don't know if this was covered or not though. So are LCs generally connected to a residence hall?
The learning communities are not a residential program, but we will try to house learning community students around one another so that their peers are close by, but we want to make sure that the learning community students are getting a diverse housing experience. So we do not like house you door to door where you're all in a wing together. That's called a living learning community, and that's not what we do here. Okay. So your peers in a learning community. So Tom, if you, Debbie, and I were all in the Ziegler College of Business Learning Community, we may all be in Elwell Hall, which is our largest residence hall on campus. But Tom, you're probably going to be on the second floor, and Debbie might be on this opposite side of the wing from me on the 5th floor. And then there may be some of our friends that are up on the 6th floor, and there may be more on the 7th. Like, so we're in the same building, we're sort of on the same side, but we're mixed in with other students.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it works. And we don't do any programming in the residence halls, with the exception of one, because it has a common area space that is accessible for anybody.
Okay.
So none of the program takes place in the residence halls. They're always taking place out in one of the academic buildings, or in our, like our student services center, or our student union, the care union. So they're very, what's the word on that? We're very inclusive to commuter students as well. It's a really great opportunity for commuter students to meet people and to have some friends on campus, even if they're not living here.
Okay.
So I think I answered most of these. I said the commuters are welcome. I said it's fine if you have a roommate that's not in a learning community. I said that it doesn't matter where you live. And yeah, so, and again, if you sign up for a learning community and you're like, hey, I signed up for the College of Education learning community, why am I not in Luzerne? There could be a variety of reasons. It could be because we didn't get it until later and housing's already in process. It could be that you or your roommate have special needs that require you to live in a different building. It could be that you're an athlete. Athletes have to usually live in Elwell Hall, which is the 12-month hall. There's a variety of things, which is why in the grand scheme of things, it's okay if you're not in your hall. So the only kind of exception to this is anybody who's in the honors learning community, they do have their own building, the honors college. So if you're in the honors college, you're either going to be in Lycoming Hall if you're living on campus, or you'll be housed in Elwell if you're an athlete. But they're the only exception to the rule.
Yeah, the big takeaway there is that so the LCs are not confined to the brick and mortar of a specific residence hall. You know,
No,
so
they're not.
it's kind of decentralized in that regard.
Absolutely.
And Jen, if I may interrupt for just a minute, in the Q&A, you touched on the response to this question, but I just want to make sure that we answer it correctly for Elizabeth Harvey. She said that she realizes that the honor students are housed in Lycoming. Can she still be with her roommate in the honors hall and be in the learning community?
I believe so. I believe so. That so we work with the Honors College, but we don't have all the information about the Honors College. So I don't want to give out false information, but I'm pretty sure that they've allowed students to live there with their roommates who are not in the Honors College. So I think you'll be fine, Elizabeth. If you have questions about that, my recommendation is you reach out to maybe Michelle Stout, who's our Assistant Director of Residence Life, and she works directly with housing. So Debbie, if you could maybe put Michelle's email or the Res Life email, I think it's buhouse@bloomu.edu, that you can direct that question there just to make sure I'm not giving you false information, but I'm 90% sure it's fine.
Yep, that's a really good question.
It is.
What if I switch my major after having been admitted to Bloomsburg? I'm currently an education major, but I might want to switch later on. Okay, thumbs up. Okay.
You're fine. So we're used to that. If you're switching to a major, sometimes we'll have students that switch major, but they really connected with their mentor and they don't want to lose their mentor. Fine, you can, if you switch, if you're a community or if you're in College of Education, you're like, this isn't for me, I'm going to psychology, you can stay. It's okay. And then maybe you just don't go to like the scheduling thing, or maybe some of the workshops might totally appeal to you, but you still have your mentor. You can still do whatever you want in the learning community family. If you are switching to a major that's in a different, that we actually have a learning community for, then just let us know. And if you would like to switch the learning community, we can make that happen as well. So we are very used to that.
Okay.
It's very common for new students to come into a major and they're like, this isn't working for me. So that's fine, it's normal. And one of the benefits of the learning community is that you have so many resources to help you through when something like that comes up where you're like, whoa, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I don't want to do this anymore. What am I supposed to do? You don't have to panic. Just talk to your mentor, talk to your director, talk to us, and we will guide you through the whole process. It's fine. Okay, so next slide, and I'll answer some more questions. The learning communities have no costs associated to them. So yay. The only time there's a little bit of a cost is if we're doing a field trip. We might ask for a down payment, or sometimes for the overnights, there's a little bit of a fee. Excuse me. But they're usually free.
Water break.
Yeah, I got a tickle because I was talking too much. Sorry, everybody. So, there is a deadline to apply for the learning communities, which is also a misconception. Debbie, can you help me and take this one for me?
I sure can. Yes, I was just going to ask. So the deadline for applying to be in an LC is July 1st of 2022. I neglected to mention earlier that I am the one that receives your applications. Jen and I both receive them. We process them. So if you have any questions as you're going through anything, I would be the one that you could reach out to. Usually once you apply online or in person at some of our orientation events that are later this summer, which we will be talking to families at what we call the orientation dates. We have an info fair, but we do encourage you to apply sooner than that, because by that point we might be filled up in some of the smaller learning communities. So again, it's July 1st. And we do encourage you to apply now. And then we did have this message in the chat. May I join more than one learning community? And are you ready? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Back in.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Debbie. We've been a tag team together, Debbie and I, for about 6 years now, and I could not survive without Debbie. Okay, so the answer to the question of can you join more than one learning community is no, because of a variety of reasons. One, we've tried this. I swear we've tried it. And students have told us it became actually very overwhelming. We had some students that joined 4 learning communities. And
Oh, wow.
that's a lot of mentors to have. And we can't coordinate mentors quite that well to make it a successful experience for you. And we want you to have a good experience. So, and this comes up a lot for our honors students. So anybody here who's in the honors college, you're in the honors college learning community, but please don't panic, because if you want, like if you're a nursing student or you're a business student and you're in the honors college, when those learning communities are doing programs related to your major, they are open to anybody in that major across the learning community family. We are constantly hosting events that are for anybody in the learning community. So you still get a very robust experience. If you're in an interest-based learning community, you can still get information from the major-based learning communities. If you're in those majors, it's fine. You're okay. But it becomes very overwhelming for the students having that many mentors. We also don't want to close the door to students who really want to be in a learning community, but now can't get in because we've got some students that are doing double. So we want to try to stay as open to as many students as possible. And we also want to make sure that you're all having a very good experience. And by doing the multiple, we have found it has not been a good experience for students, and we don't want that for you. So that's why the answer is what it is. Okay, so I did talk about this. You, as a member of a learning community, you'll be in 1 to 2 courses together with your peers. So I just forgot where it was in the PowerPoint. Sorry, everybody. We really do want you to try to enroll in the learning communities earlier rather than later. And that is because, again, we are tied to academics. And as a first-year student at Bloomsburg University, you get the opportunity where the university will put some of your required courses on your schedule for you. And then when you come to orientation, you get to finish out your schedules for yourself. So you'll work with our HALs, who are our Husky Orientation Welcome Leaders, who are upperclassmen. You'll work with them, some faculty and staff, to learn how to schedule your own classes, and you'll get to choose 1 or 2. It'll depend on your major, on how many you're adding to your schedules. So we want to try to get those learning community courses onto your schedule before you add the additional classes. So the sooner you join, the sooner we can do that. If you don't join until late in the game, then it kind of messes us up when we're trying to help you get into the courses that you would need. If you're not in a learning community course, it is not the end of the world. So I will say that now. So, you know, sometimes we'll have music majors who can't take the class that the creative arts learning community takes. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, but we do try to get you into those courses if we can, which is why we ask that you join sooner rather than later. But once we hit July 1, that's it. You can't come in after that because of us being tied to academic side. So we are not in a club or organization, which people think we are. We are not. You can't just join anytime. It's strictly by July 1. If there is a conflict, as we're trying to put you in a learning community course and it's conflicting with a course, with another course you need for your major, we will bypass the learning community course. The courses are there to help you, not deter you. So if we're running into any conflicts for you, we will remove the LC course from your schedule. So please don't worry. And if it's a course, sometimes it's common where in the College of Education, they're taking Intro to Exceptionalities. And we have some students who are coming to Bloomsburg who are local, and yay, we love having our local students coming here to Bloomsburg University. And many of them will take classes as a high school student through the program that's called ACE here at Bloomsburg. So if they've had a course already, if a student's had a course and it transfers over into Bloomsburg University, and it's a course that we're tying to the learning community, we won't put you in the course. There's no reason for you to take the same course twice. We don't want you paying for something that you don't need. That's not the goal here. So there's that question. What's next, Tom?
There was a question in the Q&A, but Debbie beat me to the punch. Debbie, the fastest typer.
Sorry.
No, no apology needed. No apology needed.
Yeah, someone asked if they apply to one learning community and they don't get accepted, can they join another one? And basically, I told them that they may ask for more than one learning community. And usually in the application, you can rank your choices up to 3 choices. And typically we look at what your second and or third choice might be, and then we would automatically place you in that one if the first one is one either full or maybe you don't qualify because you weren't already accepted into the major. We would choose that other option. But if you didn't make another option, just email me and let me know which learning community you do want to be in or considered for, and I'll go ahead and process that. You don't have to reapply again.
Debbie, you might have done this already, but can you put our contact info and the link to apply for the learning communities in the chat, please?
I sure can.
Thank you so much. Okay, there was something else I wanted to share with you all, and it totally left my head. I had like Swiss cheese brain. Excuse me. So I always tell students, so I know we are a program where supporters love us. We are amazing to the supporters. They're supporters, you're like, yes, you must do this. Okay, so students, this is what I'm going to tell you. If you have not already joined a learning community, give it a shot. Because again, as I said before, if it's not working for you, you tell us and we will remove you from the learning community, but you have nothing to lose and so much to gain by joining. So give it a shot because I think you might like it.
So we did get a question here from Markayla. We already got an email that my daughter was accepted into the medical science LC. When will they know if they are accepted into that hall?
Okay, so the health sciences learning community, I think we will do our best to try to house them in Columbia Hall. So as what we do is it's not being accepted into a hall. So that's not how it works. We've been accepted into the learning community, which is yay, that's amazing. That's awesome. We're so excited to have you. So now what we do is we share our rosters with Michelle Stout and Resonance Life. And then Michelle Stout will do her best to house the students into the halls that we try to pre-select for the learning communities. And if it doesn't work out, it's fine. But that's how it works. So you don't have to do anything else. The only thing students need to do is make sure that they've filled out everything that Residence Life needs in your My Housing account. And then we take care of the coordination between the students that have signed up for a learning community and the housing piece. So Residence Life receives the rosters and they look at anybody that's living on campus, and then they'll do their best to assign based on the needs of the student and what's available.
Excellent.
Dan,
Excellent.
do you want to tell them the date that their residence hall
I was just gonna say
assignment gets placed on My Husky?
July 1st. July 1st, those for students that are planning to live on campus, July 1st is when the housing assignments are going out, which is another reason why we are begging, pleading, please sign up for the learning communities before July 1. Sign up for them before orientation, which is going to be the 21st through the 24th and the 27th through the 29th. And if you have questions about orientation, come see us May 5th for another Zoom with Bloom at 7 o'clock. So I can answer your questions for that there. But the sooner you can sign up for the learning community, the better off you'll be. So if you really are hoping, crossing all your digits that you can get into the residence hall that has the learning community that you want in it, then you need to do it now. Because they are slowly starting to wrap up. I believe there's a cutoff date for roommate requests, which I think is June 1, but Tom, maybe you know that because I know they just did a Zoom with Bloom recently. So
they did, yeah. And as soon as I close the presentation, I have a whole list of important upcoming dates.
Yes. So these so there's lots of deadlines, and so the sooner you can sign up for this stuff, the better off you'll be.
Yes.
And Jen, can you remind them the date that the learning community students move in August?
Sure. If you are in a learning community, and again, can't say this enough, if you are not an athlete or in the band or in some program that requires you to come in earlier, that includes Jump Start, Act 101, any emerging scholars, any of these programs that are asking you to come earlier, you come August. Oh God, I just lost the date in my head. 15th, there it is. Monday, August 15th will be the day that you move in, and Residence Life will share a move-in schedule with everybody. So you just look to see where you fall on that schedule that Monday, and that's when you would come in. Because Residence Life will try to stagger everybody as they arrive. So we don't get backed up traffic-wise. And once you get here, it's an amazing experience. It's like Disney World. So the house and the peer mentors, they come out and they greet you and they get you to load all your stuff in a cart, and then they take the cart up to your room for you, and then somebody moves your car, and then you get your stuff from Residence Life, and you go up and you unload and you're ready to go. And like some people are done in like 10 minutes flat. Some people 30. Depends how much they have to unpack.
Jen,
there's lots of chanting and singing.
Yes. Jen, what's the one thing, this is a little off topic, the one thing that you would recommend that each incoming student bring with them when living on campus?
If they're living on campus, oh my God, I can't think. I don't know.
Actually, I would have pegged you for like a planner. Like you would have recommended that every student bring a planner.
No, because you know what? The truth is a lot of groups and organizations are giving out planners. So why buy one when you can get one, right?
Sure,
it's
that's true.
Being free, right?
That is true. That is a good point. All right. Point taken.
One thing to bring, a positive attitude. How's that?
That's a good mom answer.
It's such a mom thing.
That's very mom-esque.
I know. Don't forget your charger. See, you need a student for this. I'm too removed. I haven't been in college in like 20 years. Don't forget a charger. Our students are always freaking out about chargers. And at Bloomsburg, bring stuff for the seasons, because if this week was anything, like we had 60 degrees and then in about 12 hours, it went to 30 degrees, snow, about 5 inches of snow. Now we're at 55 degrees again. So you just need to be prepared. So there's that.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And in the 1 hour at our final Husky decision day on April 9th, it rained, it snowed, and we had like 50-degree weather all in an hour. This is bizarre.
It is. It so is. So yeah, no, honestly, everybody, I think we're planning to host a Zoom with Bloom Tom in admissions is going to pass the baton to the FYE Center over the summer. So those dates will be coming out in in about a month or so. But we are going to have something that with our house and mentors that say, these are the stuff that you should bring if you're moving onto campus, these are our recommendations. So you don't have to hear it from the old lady. You can hear it straight from the student's mouth for that. So
yeah, that's a good point. So invitations and registration for orientation have not been posted yet, in case you were wondering. They will be going out soon. And there will be a continued form of Zoom with Bloom throughout the course of the summer with, covering different types of topics, but just to kind of help onboard you. Honestly, for a while, orientation was basically just one day and you just drank from a water hydrant the whole day. And it was exhausting and they were fun days. And I think, Jen, the decision at some point was made, hey, let's extend the fun over the course of the summer. And maybe, you get like a normal portion size of information at each event. So I think that's exciting. And that's what we'll be covering on the Zoom with Bloom orientation, is just kind of like laying out, hey, this is what it looks like to be oriented to Bloomsburg University, so everyone knows what to expect. We did get another question in the Q&A. My daughter was accepted as undeclared because she is on the wait list for medical imaging. Can she still be a part of a learning community?
Yes. So our learning communities are open to our undeclared students. What we could do is, if your daughter wanted to apply, she could apply for health sciences learning community and we can put her on a wait list. So health sciences learning community is for the students that are in medical imaging, the bio pre-sciences, communication disorders, exercise science, all of those health science related fields. But if they have space, as we're closing the books on accepting students in, if they have the space, they will allow undeclared students who are leaning in towards those majors to join. My recommendation is that you choose some additional learning communities, that the student choose a couple of other options. And so then what we would do is put the student in a learning community so we got that student in. And then if something opens up in health sciences, we could then potentially move them from one learning community to the other and be good to go. So my recommendation is, again, you can put health sciences as the first choice, but then make the second choice one of the interest-based learning communities that the student feels is a good fit for them. And then that way the student is taken care of regardless.
All right. And just so, let's see. I know it may be a little off topic, but can you tell us a little about scheduling? Are all of our first semester classes scheduled for us? That's a good question, Jocelyn.
It is. And no, they are not they're not all scheduled for you. And it honestly kind of depends on the major that you're coming in with, and it gets complicated. So I'm just going to try to generalize this and say, again, what we do here at Bloomsburg now, and this is still new to us, we just started doing this last summer. So what we do is we will load courses onto your schedule that are required for you. And then students will then add additional classes to their schedule during orientation. So the goal is for you to have a full schedule. For students that are like in nursing, college of education, any of the education majors, some of the business majors, you have very pre-described curriculums that you have to follow. So what'll happen is you'll come to orientation and you may already have three to four classes on your schedule, and the faculty member in the house that are doing the scheduling with you during orientation will say, okay, now you're going to add this one class. And you don't have as much choice in the class that you're putting on, simply because the curriculum that is built for you is pretty tight and they don't want you falling behind. So it's sort of pre-described for you, versus a student that's coming in who is maybe like more of, we call it liberal arts here, but the social sciences, those areas. So, the psychology majors, the criminal justice majors, the emerging media majors, you have more wiggle room. So you may come to orientation and have about 2 classes already on your schedule, and then you'll add, 2 to 3 more classes during orientation or after. So You get to choose some of the courses that are going on your schedule. Not everything is put on the schedule for you. It is important to us that all of you get the experience of scheduling yourselves so that you know what to do when it's time to schedule for the spring semester. I know that's a very long-winded way of answering your question, Jocelyn. But again, we keep tweaking how we're doing this because it's a new concept for us. But we have found, based on what happened last year, is students really love that we do this with them. So you'll get more information about that as you get here for orientation.
Yeah, I
So
would say
please don't worry
where
about your
we were
schedules.
10, 15, 20 years ago, like we've kind of moved more towards giving more autonomy to the student coming in, right?
Yes.
Whether with classes, LCs, where you might, your preferences for where you're going to live, like all that used to be pretty prescriptive from the university. Like we would decide all that for you. Now, I think what seems to be more preferential from the students is that you have some say in this, and you deserve to. I mean, you should have some say in this. So,
Absolutely.
it's a good question, though, Jocelyn. Very good question.
Yes. So, yeah, the goal here is to guide you through the process because it's new to you. So we will explain all of it to you when you arrive here at orientation. There will be faculty here to help you, students here to help you, and staff members here to help you with that schedule process.
Yep.
And while you're doing that, your supporters will get a bunch of other information for you.
Yeah, we'll see. This is a fun time. This is a fun experience coming up. I think you all have a lot to look forward to.
You do. And I'll say this. I know for a student, this can be overwhelming. Heck, I know for a supporter, this can be overwhelming. So please, anytime you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. It's
Exactly.
okay. And I always tell the students, one step at a time, just deep breaths, you got this. So, and we're here for you. We're always here for you. So just reach out if you need anything.
Yeah, I mean, we work for you. Like I say that often. And for some of you who've joined us for a lot of the Zoom with Blooms, you probably heard me say that ad nauseum. But, again, we work for you. So if you've got questions, just, don't hesitate to reach out. Call us, email us, stop in to see us, whatever's easiest for you. This is always a popular topic, though. Like, hey, I've been admitted. I want to go to Bloomsburg. Now, what do I do? So we do have some resources that are out there. And among those things is, selecting the LCs. But we do have this website that's out there. That kind of walks you through each step in the process. And at the bottom, there's a list of important dates that are coming up. And I can hear my kids singing in the bathroom now. I'm sorry. I apologize if you can hear that. I don't know what they're singing, but I can hear it. So sorry if you can hear that. But that's a good guideline to use as you're trying to navigate your way through this process. We did do a Zoom with Bloom admitted student next steps that's recorded on our university YouTube channel, which I'll drop that in there too. And then again, with as just a standard response, just if you have questions, just call us. Hey, I've been admitted, Tom. I need to know, what do I need to do now? These recorded events and these videos we put out, and that's not meant to replace some type of human interaction. So if you're like, hey, I saw that stuff, I still have questions, call me. Just call me. Let me just drop that in.
And while you're doing that, one more shout out to all of our students here who are watching, listening. The learning communities, they're fun. And I know, people are like, oh God, it's more academic, or no, this is not really for me. And you're going to make friends immediately.
It almost kind of reminds me of it almost like it replicates what it's like to be on a team,
Yes.
A statistic I always remember is, student athletes, they retain, they finish their degree at a higher rate and they carry a higher average GPA throughout the course of their career. That's not a coincidence. It's because they come in, they have this built-in support structure. They have things on their schedule, right? So they're used to having to have a regimented lifestyle. And honestly, the biggest transition for me and for a lot of students that first semester is you go from being in high school where you're in class from 7 to 3 or 8 to 4, what have you. You leave, you go to practice, or you go to work or extracurricular activities. You come home, you do homework, you go to bed, you wake up the next day, you do the same thing. You don't have time to do all the other stuff, right? When you go to college, you're gonna have a lot more free time, right? Because you're transitioning into adulthood. So you have to learn to use that time well. being, on a team or being in an LC, they build in these things throughout the course of the day. So like, I know for me, like I would take all my free time and just go shoot hoops at the rec, or I would, play Madden, play, video games, what have you, which was not conducive to me doing well in school. Who saw that one coming? So whereas an LC is going to build in some structure into your life. Structure maybe is the word I'm looking for. You're
Not
going to get that.
structure, support.
Support, right? Support. Yes.
Not
That's one.
structure, but there is support there for you, an added level of support, just to help you be as successful as you can be.
Yep.
But you have to take the step. Like, we can't do it for you. We can bring you to the water, but you all gotta drink it. So take the step, drink the water, come join us.
So unless there are any final questions, I think that's probably all we have for tonight. Really appreciate everybody's time, Jen and Debbie. We appreciate it. And we'll stay on here until everyone starts to sign off in case there are any final questions. But, we look forward to hearing from everybody here soon. Again, orientation registration will be posted here shortly. We do have another Zoom with Bloom tomorrow night where we cover the Honors College. So I know we had a lot of questions about honors. That would be a good event to attend if you're interested. Thank you, Skylar. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for
Thanks,
being
Jenna.
here. So good to see you.
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully, again, we'll be hearing from everyone here soon. We're excited to help everyone get ready for their Husky life.
And I'll be
Yep,
watching
thanks,
for your
Jocelyn.
emails this evening. I did
Yes.
talk with a couple people privately, so